The chirping of birds echoes from the tall trees, blending with the early morning sunlight filtering through each leaf. A new day begins in a small village east of Tay Ninh City, where Antoine's tree sawing team prepares for a busy day of work. Antoine, the experienced team leader, stands under the shade of a large ironwood tree, holding a list of tasks. He is talking to his teammates, a gentle smile on his tanned face. Today's work is a bit heavy, everyone. There are 3 old, rotten trees near the residential area that need to be trimmed and brought down safely. Later, everyone must coordinate closely to avoid risks, Antoine says, his voice stern but full of encouragement. His team consists of 6 people, each with a different personality, but all share a love for the job and a sense of unity in the work. Hung, the oldest person in the team, always has old stories to tell when taking a break. Mr. Fong, young but experienced, specializes in handling high-altitude jobs with high difficulty. Mr. Vin, main saw operator, calm and careful in every saw stroke. Mr. Tam, the comedian of the team, often cracking jokes to keep the atmosphere cheerful. Mr. Hai, crane driver, who controls large equipment with high precision. A sunny day like this is definitely a great day to work. But don't be subjective, guys, Mr. Tuan reminded before everyone dispersed to prepare. The first tree to be dealt with was an old banyan tree with a large trunk and lush branches. It was located next to a house, with its canopy covering the porch. The strong winds of the previous days had shaken some branches, making the homeowner worried and calling the tree sawing team to handle it. Antoine stood observing from afar, commanding each step. Hung and Fong quickly climbed up the tree, wearing safety belts securely. The sound of the saw roared, tearing the clear morning air. Fong, cut this side first, this branch is too long and could easily fall towards the house. Antoine shouted loudly, pointing out the direction of the cut. On the ground, Vin and Tam were ready to catch the branch with a rope to lower it gently. But then, a large branch suddenly broke before Fong could handle it. Careful! Hai shouted, quickly controlling the crane to catch the branch before it fell onto the roof. Everyone stopped for a moment, their hearts pounding. Luckily, Hai is here. Next time, make sure to cut the wire pin first, otherwise it will be too dangerous, Antoine said, both stern and relieved. Once the banyan tree was safely removed, the team sat down to rest under the shade, sipping cool water and sharing stories from their daily lives. Guys, have you heard about my youngest son? He just got a scholarship to study abroad in Japan. An Hung excitedly boasted, his eyes shining with pride. So he's much more successful than us. But to be honest, this job is hard, but fun. If I were sitting in the office, I would probably suffocate, Tam joked, making the whole team laugh. Tam, remember the time you fell from a mango tree into a ditch? Luckily, the ditch was dry. Hai recalled a funny event from the past. I didn't fall, I was just checking the depth of the ditch. Tam replied, making everyone laugh even louder. At the second tree, a larger rosewood tree, the team encountered a serious problem. While Anfong was handling the branch above, the cable lifting the branch suddenly slipped. The giant branch began to fall at a rapid speed. Fong! Jump out quickly! Antoine shouted, his heart almost falling out. Luckily, Fong managed to swing to another branch in time, narrowly avoiding the accident. On the ground, the whole team rushed in to try to control the falling branch, but could not avoid damaging part of the fence of a house. After everything was safe, Antoine went to the homeowner to apologize and promised to fix the fence immediately. His professionalism and dedication made the homeowner not angry but sympathetic. This job is not easy at all. You guys have to be more careful, the homeowner said, smiling gently. As the sun slowly set in the west, the team finished their work. Sweat was pouring down their shirts, but everyone smiled brightly when looking back at the large trees that had been safely brought down. Let's continue tomorrow, guys. And remember, after drinking tonight, don't forget to save your strength for tomorrow. Antoine reminded. The sound of laughter and chatter echoed, blending with the picturesque sunset. A tiring but meaningful day of work had ended for Antoine's tree sawing team. After a hard day's work, the team decided to stop at a familiar house to rest. The homeowner, Mr. Tam, was very fond of Antoine's team because the team had once helped him cut down an old cashew tree next to his house without leaving any damage. Mr. Tam not only welcomed them warmly but also offered to treat the team to a sumptuous dinner. After eating and drinking, everyone pulled chairs out into the yard, lit a small fire to warm themselves and chat. Antoine, you've been a team leader for so many years, you must have experienced many memorable situations, right? Mr. Hai asked while sipping tea. Antoine smiled, his eyes sparkling in the firelight. It's true that after working in this profession for so long, there have been many unexpected incidents. Once, when I first started, I had to climb a coconut tree over 20 meters high to cut a large branch. Who would have thought that there was a honeybee nest right on the branch? Before I could react, the whole swarm flew out like a storm. Oh my God, how did you escape? Fong asked excitedly. I immediately jumped down onto the banana leaves below and rolled around a few times to prevent the bees from stinging me further. I still had to take painkillers for the swelling for the next week. From then on, before climbing a tree, I always checked carefully. Tuan told the story while laughing, making everyone burst out laughing. Antoine's story opens a series of memories that each member of the team wants to share. Hung, the oldest, recounts his memories of working in the Central Highlands. Back then, I climbed a giant pine tree, the trunk of which was so big that two people could not hug it. Halfway up the tree, I heard a strange rattling sound. Looking down, I saw a snake coiled around a branch below. Cold sweat broke out all over my body. What happened then? Tam urged. I had to cling tightly to the tree trunk and inch down. The whole team on the ground had to chase it away. Luckily, nothing happened, but from then on, whenever I saw a snake, I ran away. Amidst the humorous stories, Vin suddenly spoke up in a sad voice. Actually, this job has not only joy but also sadness. Once, I had to cut down an old tree that the homeowner's grandfather had planted when they first started their business. The homeowner just stood there and cried, which made me feel heavy-hearted. The atmosphere fell a little as everyone felt a sense of harmony. Antoine nodded and said, "In this job, sometimes it's not just cutting down trees, but also cutting off a part of someone else's memory. But we have to do it for their safety. The important thing is how to do the job without causing harm but also bringing benefits." The next morning, the team woke up to a bright sunrise. The chirping of birds signaled a beautiful new day. They prepared their tools and checked their equipment carefully before moving to the new project. The next tree was an old banyan tree, located in the middle of an ancient communal house yard. This was not a simple job, but also had cultural and spiritual significance. This tree must be done very carefully, no branches must fall and damage the communal house yard, Antoine emphasized. The work progressed smoothly until an unexpectedly large branch got stuck between two other branches. The team had to stop to find a solution. "Let me climb up and adjust the rope," Anfong said, quickly climbing up. But when he got close to the stuck branch, his safety rope suddenly slipped off the hook. "Fong! Hold on tight!" Tam shouted, everyone's heart stopped. Luckily, Anfong managed to grab onto the tree trunk, and Hai quickly controlled the crane to assist. The atmosphere was tense throughout the team. When Fong safely landed, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. This is a lesson for all of us. Check everything carefully before starting, don't be subjective even for a second, Antoine said, his voice stern but full of love. After completing the work at the village communal house, the whole team was invited to attend the local people's gratitude ceremony. They were given small gifts such as fruit baskets, bottles of honey, and sincere thanks. On the way back, Tam turned to Antoine and said, "Antoine, I think this job is not just a job, but also a mission. We not only clean the environment but also connect with people and nature." Antoine smiled and replied, "That's right. And the most important thing is that we always stand together, like a real family." In the sunset, the whole team laughed loudly, ready for the new challenges that lie ahead.